Hello and welcome. We're here in Iowa working on the house here. We have decided to use in this house wall-mounted toilets. And there's a couple of reasons. One, they're easy to clean under since they're on the wall and not the floor. And two, it gives us a little more angle when going to the septic tank. We're going to be unboxing and looking at those today, and maybe if we have what all we need, we'll be putting on the mounting kit into the frame, into the 2x4 wall. So stick around and we'll start unboxing and we'll see what happens. Well, yesterday I thought we're going to put in that Zurn carrier for a wall-mounted toilet. Unfortunately, it didn't have any instructions in the box, and I spent the last yesterday 10 hours trying to find them online. I don't know why, but Zurn doesn't have any out there. All they have is advertising and specifications. Anyway, today we're going to try and figure out how to do this. No instructions, never done it before. I don't know what I'm doing. Come along, let's mess up together. So we got a Zurn carrier for a wall-mounted toilet, and we bought this at Lowe's, and they got the toilet. It's kind of elongated like we want, but it's not really. It's kind of an oval shape, not really as elongated as I'd hoped, but that's the only one they had. And the only carrier that came with it, the only mounting plate that came with it, was a carrier plate by Zurn. I unpacked it yesterday, made a little video of it to show you the installation before I found out we didn't have instructions, and I'll show you that here. This is the mounting kit. This is from Zurn. It is a carrier with wall-hung toilet, or for wall-hung toilet. Comes in a small box. It's got the obligatory foam padding, a flange of some kind, a no-seal gasket. I guess we're not using wax, we're using something else. Four pieces of all thread, several inches long. A bag of what looks to be covers, cosmetic covers for the bolts. A bag of bolts, nuts, and flat washers. And I'm assuming this is the kit thing that goes on the wall. Not sure which direction it goes on the wall. I'm assuming like this, with the toilet out here. But I don't know, because this looks like a lot more than 4 inches. I hope this doesn't have to be mounted in a 2x6 wall, or we got some issues. Y'all seen the mounting instructions fall like this? I didn't. Anyway, what we got is this mounting plate. Mounting plate. And not much more. It is a thing here with a hole in the center and some mounting brackets. And looking at their advertising, it mounts like this. And from an engineering perspective, it probably does as well, because this mounting bracket has holes in here to go into your studs. And if you're sitting out here forcing it down, that forces these bolts back into the stud, into the thick part of the stud. This bracket has holes in the back, and again, if you're sitting out here, it's pulling this forward, that forces these holes into the thick part of the stud. I know it's got to go on in this orientation. There are no vertical adjustments on this. There are a couple of slots here to go side by side to, I guess, accommodate for variance in different distance between the studs. It's sized for 16-inch center mounting. I had hoped it'd be 2x4, but it's not. It's 2x6. We have some issues there. The framing of the wall is 2x4, and so I'm going to have to add a little something on the back of it to frame it out, to bring it into to get some more meat out here to bite into it. And I have no idea how this is going to work. They gave me a little black piece here, and looking at the information online, this goes in like this. Toilet's over here. This goes in up against a ring, and then this part goes into your waste pipe. That fits a 3-inch drain PVC adapter or PVC fitting on the back of it here. It's not very long. I don't know how much play I need to work with it, but it goes in here. There are 3 set screws to hold it or center it or give it a little support, and it goes in here. Now, how far it goes in there, I don't know. We'll have to figure that out. How far it's set off the floor, I don't know. We'll have to figure that out. It came with a bunch of little packages, a package of bolts and nuts and stuff, and I like to assemble everything when I got a box like that or a bag like that, just to make sure that I've got everything I need and make sure they're all on the respective nuts and bolts, and are all on the respective bolts, and we got all we need, and each one's where it needs to go. That way I have less chance of losing one, and if I do lose one, I lose the whole bolt, nut, washer, lock washer, the whole set, and so it's less likely to do that. So we need to figure out now how high to set this on the studs. Let me get the bowl up here and we'll take a look at it. So this is a toilet. It's going to be mounted. Be mounted on the wall like that. So we're looking at this face here going up against the wall, and we'll look at the back here. It's fairly flat all across it. We've got some holes in the back of it for these large bolts to go through. We got drain hole here. We've got a drain hole here in the center, and this goes in like that. There's a little piece that comes out, sticks out, and if you look at it, it comes out and it almost touches the inside face of this. There is a foam insert that goes around in this space, and this comes on against it and presses in against that foam to seal it. How much pressure, I don't know. If we assume this is going to be flush with the drywall, this little lid, this little angle piece right here, that edge of it is flush with the back of this. So I guess if I put, this has a little lip that comes up and then the edge goes over and it's tilted like this. And I got maybe 1/8 of an inch between this edge and the inside corner. So I'm thinking if I put that inside corner flush with the drywall, then when I put it up here and push this up against the drywall it'll compress that foam about an eighth of an inch, and that should give me enough of a seal. I don't know. We're going to give it a shot. But I need to figure out now how high to set this thing. The wife said she wants top of the rim, the bowl, to be 17¼ inches above the finished floor. We measured the one at home and she wants it a little bit higher than that. So she said this rim needs to be 17¼ inches above the floor. If we figure a ½ inch for the flooring above the subfloor, we're going to be working with a subfloor. So that is 17¾ inches over the subfloor. So that still doesn't tell me much except for where this comes in. So let's take some measurements and see what we need, how we need to get there. So we're going to assume that this face is flat and square. And we're going to assume that this is a 90-degree angle between this face and this face. If that's the case, then, and this top face is 17 inches off the floor, this inside rim is 8 inches below that face. And that inside rim face looks like it's about, if I center this in here, it looks like it's about 1/8 of an inch inside the diameter of this. Inside the inside diameter of this. So let's get a little drawing up here so we can get everything squared away. So we got the rim of the bowl here, and it comes back and there's a flat surface here. And if I was an artist, I wouldn't be doing this. I'd hire somebody to do it. But anyway, we got the rim of the bowl here, from here to the floor, or rather the subfloor. This needs to be 17¾ inches. Now this bowl here has an opening here in the back of it for the waist, and that is 8 inches from the top of the base to the top of that opening. I'll expand this a little bit. We got an opening coming down, and we got a little cavity in here, and then comes down some more, and then it comes back out, and then there's the edge of it. And down in here there's some other stuff, but the important thing is that there's a little opening here, and that is for this piece to sit over. So from the top of this to the top of that is 8 inches. And this here is 1/4 of an inch. So the inside diameter there, inside edge, is 8¼ inches from the top of this. Put this in there. This inside face is about 1/8 of an inch inside this surface. So over here we've got this waistline coming in, and we got a little thing coming up here and then a lip coming over there. So this edge here, this inside edge here, sticks out about 1/8 of an inch inside that. So what we want is from here to here would be 8 1/8 inches. So that is 8 1/8 inches coming down from here. And if that means if we want 17 3/4 inches, we have from here to the floor, we have 17 3/4 minus 8 1/8. So that'd be 9 7/8. Somebody check the math on that and make sure I'm right. So 9 7/8. Just to make sure. And 9.67 or 625. That'd be 5/8. Be 9 5/8. Always check your math. So that's 9 5/8 inches from that edge to the floor. So now let's go to the frame and see what kind of measurements we can get from it. So this is going to be sitting in here like that, and we want that inside edge to be 9 5/8 inches off the floor. And let's see what we can get from here. So the inside diameter of this pipe is 3 inches, which doesn't seem quite right. Maybe it is. Outside is 3 1/2. So I guess that's right. So from the inside surface to the outside of this is 3 1/4. So the inside of this surface to the outside of this one is 3 1/4 inches. And we put this in here like that, and it's visually centered. And we slide along these brackets. We see that these brackets line up with the inside surface here. So that would be 3 inches below. So here to here is 3 inches. So the bottom of this bracket is 3 inches below that. So it's 9 5/8 inches from the floor to the inside surface here. The bottom of the bracket is 3 inches below that, so that would be 6 5/8. And that then needs to be 6 5/8 inches off of the subfloor. I hope that's right. Now this thing is heavy. Now I don't relish trying to hold it up there and screw and drill holes at the same time. So I'm going to cut a couple of pieces of wood, some short pieces of 2x4 at 6 5/8, and I'll put them on the studs on where we're going to mount it, and I'll put them so that these bottom brackets rest on them. That'll give me a little helping hand in mounting that, and should take some of the strain off. So let me go set up and we'll take a look at mounting this inside the stud walls here in just a few minutes. So now we're ready to put it together. Ow. First thing we're going to do is fasten these blocks in place. I'm going to leave these blocks in place. I don't know that it adds any strength to the fixture, but just in case it does, I'm going to leave them there. And if it doesn't, well, no big deal. Now, these set screws are long, and while they're not sharp, they are small, and if you get them caught in your hand wrong, they will tear it open. I'm going to take this one out. So now we need to adjust these brackets so that they meet the walls. And they are set a little short, a little narrow, and you can see I can get a good ½ inch in there. So what I'm going to do is throw this one side all the way over and then loosen the bolts on this side and move them into position, and then tighten them down again. This bracket does have some wobble in it up and down, and you can see I get it there, and if I hold it there I can't really tighten these bolts because it's a two-handed operation. So I'm going to get a clamp and put it in here to hold that bracket in place while I mess with it. All right. Now those are spread apart as far as we need them, so tighten them up. Now this bracket over here, the bottom of it is up against the stud, but it's got a little lean to it, so I'm going to loosen it up, get it square, and then tighten it down again. Okay, now both brackets are spread and straight up and down against the walls. Now we'll work on the top ones. Now, they're spread. So it's time to start marking holes. Forgot something. Remember I said that these are made for 2x6 and this is a 2x4? So I got to go on the other side and put it 2 inches on the back of the stud. See you in a little bit. Howdy. So what I've got is I ripped down a 2x4 to 2 inches, and then I'm going to put it back here, just screw it into the stud and give me the depth I need to attach these top brackets. And remember, the way these are engineered, these bolts are going to be pulling that way against this stud. So it should be more than sufficient to do it like this. So we're lining this up front to back. We want it as far forward as we can so that we get plenty of pressure against that seal of the toilet going up against it. So I'm going to line up these brackets with the face of the 2x4s. We'll take a straight edge, put it across the 2x4s, and then pull these forward until they touch. And they're resting on that, resting on the bracket or on the blocks. They're far forward. Now we need to make sure they're plumb. For that, we need a level. Okay, so we're going to level this up. What we want level is this face. This face right here. It's going to be perpendicular to the seat. And if it's not level, the seat's not level. That wasn't level, and it's not going to sit level on those blocks. So, going back to my old friend, the clamp. Once again, we're going to get this lined up front to back. The clamp's not on here real tight, just enough to give it a little resistance to keep it from moving too easily. Get it level, tighten the clamp, check it again, and it's level. All right, plumb. It's plumb, and it is flush to the front, so that is exactly where we want the holes drilled. Marking those holes is going to be difficult because there is absolutely no way to get a pencil or pen in the holes to mark it. I can't get a good full circle on it, so I'm just going to have to put a, best I can, half circle. The ones out here on the back, there is plenty of room. So we can mark those easy enough. The ones here on the bottom are difficult because of this thing right here. I'm not going to take it apart because then I'll lose registration with everything else. So we're going to see if that does the job. Now we'll drill for the bolts. putting it together. That is a tight fit. That's intentionally a tight fit. We're going to do it a little different. I'm not going to mark it, just going to drill it. So now we're just going to go around and put all these bolts in. Not going to tighten them down yet. Just going to put them in there and let them wobble a bit. Okay, they're all started at least. Check it again for plumb. And check it again for back and forth. That looks pretty good. And that's good enough. It's between the lines. It's between the lines. It's good enough. So now we're going to seat those bolts. Do that, I need a hammer. For those all who couldn't see that, I took this pair of pliers and stuck it up against the head of that bolt, and holding it way out here, I had the pliers up here next to it. That gave a push in that bolt to get it all the way through. So we've got bolts all the way through for all 8 holes. Now we got to go on the other side and cinch them down. So the drill is put one flat washer followed by one locking washer, followed by one nut on each bolt, and run them up. For those of you code freaks out there, these electric lines haven't been fully installed yet, so don't worry about them being close to a plumbing fixture. They're going to be pulled up out of the way as soon as we finish installing the boxes and everything on them. Okay, the only thing left now is to tighten them down. Okay, the carrier is now mounted. Put the set screw back in. That'll be it for this video. The next one will show mounting the toilet, adjusting the bolts, the large bolts here that carry the weight of the toilet, and then mounting the toilet on those bolts. So hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell to be notified when the next one comes out. And if you like this and want to see more, hit that like button. We would appreciate it. Bye.